Alright, so I got my Z-axis carriage dust cover put together, and I printed it out real large on 13 by 19 on my Workforce 1100 inkjet printer. So I got a big inkjet printer that I use for screen printing, transparencies and stuff. But I'm able to print larger, so I printed out on some 110-pound cardstock, heavy-duty cardstock, 2 pieces, and put it together, cut it, scored it, and so now I got this kind of Paul Bunyan image with that's going to cover this center part of the dust carriage. So again, in a similar way, I've got the ability to wrap this thing around to try to keep the dust down, because I have dust gets into a lot of things, and I'm kind of fed up with cleaning it up. So I am I think I've got this thing cut properly and scored properly to be able to do what I need to do. So I got the tape on here, kind of partially put together on the top, just like on the sides for the logs. I wrap it around. This time it just kind of goes around onto the front. It goes onto the motor, and the motor pushes through. But then it goes over the top of the carriage. And then again, I don't know what I'm doing with these wires, but I just think I've got a pretty good system for myself what these wires are. But the front flaps around in a very, very similar way that it did on the other side, but it's open with the long pieces like this, so it's able to come around the front and go underneath and not screw up the Z-axis over here. So I still have the sides, which allow it to wrap around and tuck into the initial parts here, or these front parts that kind of flop over. And so I got the slots on the front, and you're not going to see that, but maybe I'll bring it around the front to show you on the first one. But I got the slots on the front, and then these sidebar pieces kind of come around and wrap around the rail. So as I tuck it in, let's get this one tucked in. I bent it a little bit. It slides in there and keeps and allows me to kind of get a good lock onto the front around this. So I will buckle this one down, and then bring it around the front over here. And if you take a look at it, you will see that I've got this piece will slide into the front part here, buckle it in. So these kind of pieces wrap around the front and allow it to cover up a good part of the front of this carriage. And then I got the little slots here, and then these side pieces wrap around. So they wrap around and fit and open up just enough to have the carriage, or the rail come through. And so I'll tape these things into place. So the other thing that happens is that these things kind of go and bend up underneath, and then this bends up and tucks into the back. So as we get that front piece, wrap it around underneath on the back, and then it will slide into a slot that I have cut in the bottom. You kind of see it opening up a bit. And it's tight, so everything's kind of hopefully tighter. Don't want to have too many gaps in here, too loose, in order to get this thing to kind of piece together and allow me to, whenever I tape it up, everything tapes up and no dust is coming through. So as I get this thing and buckle it up, it looks a little loose like now, but what I do is take the tape and tighten up the bottom part here and the top part here, and then the motor wraps around, goes through, and then it stays nice and tight. And again, it's protecting all the wires. So it's protecting the wires, protecting the carriage from getting dust inside of it. And then the next video I'll show you, I've made these bellows out of folded paper. It's my origami project, which is tedious and crazy, but I'm okay at it. I'm sure someone could take their time and do a better job at it. But you'll see that I wrap this around the carriage. So I got my Paul Bunyan, and then I've got my my log, on the sides to help cut it, and that's just me doing, you know, kind of marking my machine, making it mine. So that's what I have going with the carriages, and then you'll be able to download these templates. They're Illustrator templates or EPS. I'll make them EPS, so you can alter them and add your own graphics and whatnot to wrap around and put it all together. So there it is, Paul Bunyan wrapped around the Z-axis carriage on my Shapeoko 2. All right, y'all.